16-year-old Jalen Lewis, Rob. He's a high school junior, so he's entering his junior year, or at least he was. He's a 5-star basketball recruit. Now, some rankings had him as the 12th best player in the class of 2023. ESPN had him as second in their class of 2023. So he's a baller. He's on that NBA.
Such a big difference, 12 and 2. That's big.
High school it's hard to, I mean,
yeah,
we could have a whole show on guys. Right. Well, real, and we could go through a whole show of guys that were, O.J. Mayo was supposed to be the next LeBron James, according to some people.
And instead he turned into Holder Mayo.
That's right.
What, Alex?
I can tell you're excited about your trip tonight. That's why I'll let that go. But anyway, Jalen Lewis, Rob, signed a contract. There's a new professional league called Overtime Elite. All right. And Jalen Lewis has signed a multi-year deal with them worth more than $1 million, not per year, but over the 3 years. Right now, it would be 3 years, I guess, because right now you have to be a year past your high school graduating class. So it would be 3 years before he could go to the NBA. But, if the NBA ends up changing that rule, then maybe he's only there 2 years. But whatever the case, it's a multi-year deal worth more than $1 million. He will continue his academics. They have tutoring programs and things like this. But basically, Rob, they've got Kevin Ollie. Remember him? He played in the NBA. He coached at UConn, won a national champship.
And then things fell apart up there, and he's been
that was strange because he was like, he was the darling of both college and the NBA at one point.
I know, and everybody wanted him. You remember that? Right? Yeah.
Yep. And a good guy, So I don't know what went down. Obviously we know the stories that were out there, but he's a good guy. I like him, so I'm glad to see him now back in the game still. But anyway, they're putting together, and they've got a few other guys that are top-ranked 5-star prospects. Some who are a class of 2022, meaning would be entering their senior year. Others who are class of 2023. But they're going to have a team that will travel around the country, Rob, playing prep schools and some teams abroad. Okay? And like I said, your academics continue. It's not a school, but, you got tutoring and all that. And I got to be honest, I'm not mad at this. A lot of people do homeschooling now, so he's going to still get his education, but he's really going to be preparing to be an NBA player. And I got no problem with it. If all this is legit, and I have no reason to think it's not, then I think this young man is really going to get some good training. And I got more thoughts, but I want to hear yours on this basic stuff first.
Yeah, if he gets his money and this thing lasts, and I don't know who's backing it, Chris, or who's got the $1 million or all the things that's set up.
Got good funding.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's got to be legit for sure.
But those football leagues with were also funded and on network television.
But they weren't promising guys $1 million.
No. I know, and that's what's scary. That's what I'm saying. Like they had these leagues set up and they're paying people $60,000 and couldn't make payroll. All I'm saying is, I'm always for people if they want to go to work and make money and get their high school education, no matter how they get it, a GED, homeschooling, whatever you want to do. I'm always going to be in favor of that. People have a right. Everybody is not going to college. Everybody can't go to college. Everybody doesn't want to go to college. Some of the best people and smartest people I know didn't go to college, okay? It's okay. So I'm good with that. And if he's happy and his family, wants the money and they feel this is the best option for him, I'm all in on this. And you know what? Might not work. If they believe it was great for a great opportunity at the time, rather than going to play for these schools where you're not making any kind of money,
right?
And they're making money off of you. I cannot be mad at people who want to change the way this has been done.
And Rob, he's getting it 2 years early.
Right. No.
I mean, I don't know what his family situation is.
And you know what? He might not even make the NBA. Who knows? But you know what, Chris? He's going to get paid.
Right.
He's
a pro now. Yes.
Yep.
And here's the thing.
They've been doing this in Europe forever, Chris. They've been playing.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because that's where I was going to go.
Oh.
Is that, Rob, 3 of the first team All-NBA players this year. You had Chris Paul and Steph Curry, American. And then you had Luka Doncic, Nikola Jokic, the MVP, and Giannis Antetokounmpo, the 2-time MVP before Jokic won it. Those last three guys I named, the last 3 MVPs for that matter, or the last 3 years of MVPs, they all came up under this European system, Rob.
Yep. No,
they all were pros at
this is not
15,
new.
16, whatever. And the thing is, we got to look at it. We got to start looking at it like, and obviously we still have great players in America, but they're beyond catching up. They're not ready to beat us in international play because we got the numbers.
But they're
sending ballers over here, and those countries aren't nearly as big as the United States.
No, but a lot of those kids, they're playing and they're learning the game and skills, Chris, way more than here in the United States where people are just playing a ton of meaningless games.
Right.
And there's no practice time and there's no skill training and any of that. And that's why we're falling behind because these other guys are skilled, way more skilled. Not all of them.
Well, Luka and Jokic are do it on skills.
Am I right?
Yeah, they do it on skills.
They're not the most athletic guys or they're jumping out the gym or anything. I mean, not at all. But they're skilled players, and I think that's the mistake. And you know that with all these tournaments and all that. It's all a money grab, a lot of it. There's just people are willing to go play four games over the weekend or 6 games, Chris, in a 2-day
and you just balling.
junket.
You're not
doing anything else. You're worn out.
Skills.
Right.
Yep. And the other thing, Rob, is the thing with college is that we know this. There's limits on how much a player can work on his game during the week. What was it, 20 hours of practice time a week? These kids are going to, at Overtime Elite, they're going to get a lot more. Yeah, of course they can go out there, but then they got to be in class and, study hard. They're probably watching a lot of film, but 20 hours of practice time with the team per week, they're probably not doing a ton more outside of it. I mean, I'm obviously some of them want to go and get shots up and stuff, but there's going to be no limit on these kids. Jalen Lewis now can work on his game as much as he wants. And I'm sure, with Ollie, with his background, they're going to get him the right training and they're going to work these kids. They're still going to get their education. And I'm with you. I'm assuming this is legit
and above
and they're
board.
They're going to be able to
right.
pay the kids. Yeah, I mean, there's no reason to believe it's not right now. But if all of that comes together, I don't see a lose for this kid. Like I said, and here's the thing, Rob. In America, what this is doing is separating the sport from school, right? Our system is all sports are associated with school.
Except not minor league baseball. Kids come out of high school.
But I mean
Chris,
coming up through high school.
Right, but they come out of high school, and then I'm just saying, this is another option for kids. That's all. Or they don't have to go to college. Like that was always like you shouldn't have to go to college if you don't want to. That's,
you're right.
That's what I mean. Minor league baseball. You don't have to go to college. There are guys now, Chris, who come out of college more so than ever before, but you don't have to go to college. Is my point.
Right. And so I think it's a good situation. I think he's going to get great training. Look at LaMelo Ball, Rob. And yeah, everybody doesn't have the ability that LaMelo Ball has.
But it's another way. He went to all these
Lithuania
and Australia and places that didn't even have quality basketball, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And he was able to do enough to be the 3rd overall pick and be the rookie of the year and all that. So
he's a baller. So I'm with it. The one thing, and look, I was talking to Rob G about this before the show. If I was that like elite level of player, I mean, I enjoyed high school. You know, I enjoyed playing high school sports, just the school spirit, everything. I enjoyed college. I'm not saying if I could have been a one and done, I would have went. I wouldn't have went. You know,
Chris, let me ask you this. Let me real quick before don't lose your train of thought.
Right.
If you are a sophomore or junior at college, and the New York Times said, "Hey, you don't have to. Just we want you to come and work at the paper." Would you have left to go work at the New York Times?
I think, honestly, I would have asked them, will this job still be there in 2 years?
Nope, can't promise that.
Yeah, if they can't promise that, but again, with a lot of these players, they're promised that. You know what I mean?
See, my thing would be,
if I didn't have a choice, yeah, if they're like, look, you can get this job now, or
and you can finish college. Obviously, they're like, we want you to finish college. If
you're gonna hire me, I don't really want to finish college. Like what I liked about college, and I did my work. I had a 3.0 grade point average, all that. I was a good student. But I'm saying what made college enjoyable wasn't going to class. What made college enjoyable was my friends there and playing ball on the team and having fun. My frat bro, like that's what made college fun. And so if I'm gonna work at the New York Times, I'm not doing all that stuff. So I probably if the New York Times gives me a job, I'm gonna be honest, I probably wouldn't have finished college.
Okay, that's fair.
I've become more into education after I graduated. Right. I read more books now than I ever read when I was a young kid in high school and college, just because I changed, my mentality changed. But at that point, I was like, college is to prepare myself to get a job. And so if I got a good job at the New York Times making money,
right.
I'm just keeping it real.
I would have taken the job, but I would have finished college. I would have finished to get my degree, but I would leave the paper. Leave school for a great opportunity like that.
Now, what if they told you, like I asked, because if they said, look, you can come now, but we'll have the job for you in 2 years, I would have finished school.
No, you would finish school if they're going to hold a job. Right. Yeah, I would finish school. If they tell me we're going to hire you, we got a job for you when you graduate. I'll finish out school, because the other stuff that goes along with going to college, the fun aspect of it, being in the dorms, all that. Chris, I was in the senior dorm at Southern Connecticut, and because I only needed 5 credits to finish college, I graduated. I didn't know this early, but because I only needed 5 my last semester, you have to have a full load in order to stay in the dorm. You have to be a full-time student. You can't be part-time. So I didn't want to move off campus. I wanted to stay with my friends, So I took a full load, of classes just so that I can be in the dorms with my friends.
Right. No, I get it. But I think the one thing, and again, this is why I brought up the whole college thing. The one thing he'll miss out on, and it's not essential, because obviously now, like we said, LaMelo Ball, he didn't get March Madness, right? He didn't get playing on CBS and all that on the weekends. He didn't need that exposure. The kids don't really need, or a lot of the kids don't need the exposure, because, Rob, they got their social media followings. Some people are really into following AAU and high school ball and all that stuff. So they're known by some fans and also by the pro scouts already. But, if a guy grew up watching Duke and North Carolina and, Michigan and all these teams, Kentucky and all this stuff, and you want that experience for a year, you want to play in March Madness, I'm not mad at that, especially now when you can get the name, image, likeness. And so maybe some kids will be like, I've always wanted to play in March Madness. Or I always wanted to play on Saturday afternoons on national television or in these college games. Or I will always want to play for such and such a coach. So some kids may still want that, and that's fine. But, and look, people knew Zion before he went to Duke, but there's no denying that he certainly got a boost by going to Duke in terms of popularity and all that. So some people may want that. It's not necessary, but I get it if some kids want to go play, especially now that you can get name, image, likeness money.